I tell everybody this, take advantage of the free consultations that therapists have and ask those questions. Ask, what kind of formal training do you have? What certificates do you have? How is this going to be different than talk therapy? Have you worked with people like me?
One of the things that I didn't understand before that I'm learning the more I interview, trauma therapists, is that most therapists, when they go through their training, are not their training is not trauma informed. And so
Correct.
Unless somebody actually seeks, like you did, seeks additional training in a trauma modality, you could go to a talk therapist and just keep talking about it till you die, and nothing's ever going to get resolved. Yeah. So How does somebody find an IFS therapist, and what can somebody expect from that type of modality?
Yeah. So the best way to find them is probably through their practitioner's directory. And that's, if you just Google IFS Institute, it's the one that comes up, I think, at the top, and just go to their directory. You can filter by state. It'll tell you, I think, if they're accepting clients or not. And so they have two different types on that you can see, either a therapist or a practitioner who doesn't have a therapy license. They're on there too, but you can delineate between which one you're looking for. To your point, it's always good to ask, because IFS has gotten so big that some people will say, I'm a parts work therapist, or I dabble in IFS, or I have training in internal family systems. And so I would ask if they got trained from the Institute, right? What level of training they're on. Because I can speak for going through that process is a rigorous process for us therapists. You are doing experiential work. I always tell other therapists, and they're like, what should I go get trained in? I love IFS. Like, go to the Institute, go get your level 1 training in it, because you learn so much about yourself, but also working with clients. And so if I was interested in IFS, I would filter that directory by somebody who was trained in a level 1 or higher. And then take advantage. I tell everybody this, take advantage of the free consultations that therapists have and ask those questions. Ask, what kind of formal training do you have? What certificates do you have? How is this going to be different than talk therapy? Have you worked with people like me? Those are some of the questions that I encourage people to ask, because it's going to help you point to the right fit. And then too, like, as much as the training is great, right? Like, research shows us too, the relationship between you and the therapist is, if not more important.
Yeah.
And so, you want to make sure that you can vibe with that person and feel safe enough. I know it's a grueling process, trauma therapy, and it's not always fun, but so I would say we always talk about, like, you got to find the right, which is hard. You got to find the right modality that fits you. You got to find the right therapist. Financially has to make sense. Logistically has to make sense, right? You got to add all that up, and hopefully it's a nice cake. But it's hard, right? And everybody's going to have different trade-offs with that, right? Like, so do the best that you can to see if you can scratch all 4 of those. And
And can you talk a little bit about, I'm mentioning trauma, but it sounds, like I said, I'm still new to this, but it sounds like this would be a great treatment modality for anybody who's struggling with anything, even if you don't have a history of trauma necessarily. That it's a great way to, because one of the challenges I'm starting to understand better about talk therapy, and I'm not disparaging talk therapists. I think that there's a place for it.
Sure.
But I feel like, especially with somebody, my audience are people that are looking for treatment options for, healing the underlying causes of bipolar, and
Sure.
that is not going to be accomplished, and so with talk therapy, because talk therapy is staying in your conscious, upper part of your brain, that is the decision making, it's, skills and that kind of thing, and this sounds to me more like something that is helping you access, those lower parts of your brain, the subconscious part of your brain. So, who would you recommend this type of therapy to?
Yeah, I mean, I recommend it to anybody that's dealing with some sort of mental health issue that they would classify as a mental health issue. The thing that I love about IFS is that it goes at the other person's pace, right? We're not doing a technique to bypass things. We're not doing and it has a talk therapy element baked into it, but it's not talk therapy. Right. And what I mean by that is, if somebody comes in so dysregulated and I were to just tell them all right, let's just go inside, and they're, especially on the first session, most people aren't doing that. I don't know you. You want me to focus inside to this scary world? That's not happening. Right. So what we get trained in is then it's my kind of compassionate self to whatever part of you's there. And I'm not saying this to the client oh, this is your protective part, I'm going to talk to your protective part. No, but I'm asking those same questions we talked about. What are you worried would happen if you didn't do this, right? If you didn't drink, right? Wow, that sounds hard. And if I could help you with that, are you interested? And then once that trust gets built, now we can go inside and work with that. So the reason I say that is that I think it's great for whatever stage you're at. Some people come to me and they're like, I've learned about IFS, I'm ready to go inside, let's do it, right? And other people have more protective, guarded systems and aren't ready to do that. And that's fine. And we can still do that. It might look a little different, right? But that's the thing that gravitated me towards IFS, is that I, as a practitioner, don't feel boxed in. I have the freedom to work with whoever's system is in front of me. And so, yeah, I recommend it for a lot of things. I work specifically with couples where we apply it there, and it's great with that. We use a little bit of a different protocol with that, but because my schooling was in couples therapy, I work with that. And I'm a huge fan of it. So I don't know if there's going to be too many things that I say, it's not good for this, but I trust people's opinion. So if somebody were to come to me and say, I tried IFS, I actually really like EMDR a little bit better, I say, great, fantastic. I want you to work with something that works for you. And it might be IFS, it might not be, but if you feel called to it, give it a shot.